Hey everybody. So I sat down with John Adams, Toby Poser, and Zelda Adams, collectively known as the Adams family, to talk about their new tremendous horror film about cancer called Mother of Flies, releasing on Shudder today. Today, which is Friday, January 23rd. I hope you'll stick around for the conversation and check out the film. Hi, how are you? Happy New Year.
You
You too.
too. We're doing great. We're loving this winter.
Oh, well, I am so pleased to be able to talk to all three of you, Zelda and Toby and John, all on one call. I am kind of astonished at the horrible things you do to your own child, Toby. Can I just say, you know, I
Only
kept
in only in this realm can I say you're welcome.
No, it's really wonderful to be able to talk to all of you because I think, there's something so deeply personal embedded in Mother of Flies. And I'm really curious, you know that I come from a disability and horror background, so I'm really anxious to talk about, a lot of the issues of chronic illness and that level of anxiety and how that applies in this film because I think you're doing something very extraordinary about talking about life and death in a really intricate way. And I wondered if you could comment on that a little.
Who wants to start?
Toby, you should.
Well, John and I come from having histories with cancer and very different stories. And then Zelda recently, right before we started shooting, discovered she carries this genetic cancer syndrome that I carried down to her. And so making a movie about this subject was, I'll just speak personally, was incredibly powerful and cathartic to talk about it on our own terms through the beautiful lens of cinema and horror was was very therapeutic for me. And just every horror lover, I guess, has a healthy obsession with death. And so talking about death and including conversations that Zelda has heard her parents actually talk about that are real and infuse them into the film. Um, it was cool.
Yeah, the horror community is a great place to talk about humanity, to talk about issues about that we all go through. And we're having this wonderful conversation with the horror community, and we felt it was a good time to talk about issues that we wanted to talk about, which was our fight for life, but also our respect for death.
Mm.
And that's outside of, we don't have a religion to answer questions. So we have to ask harder questions, I think, because we don't have answers. We have to talk about life and death as realities that we have to have faith in.
And I just want to add too, equally important was honoring the story of the person who loves the person who is fighting for their
Hmm.
life. And
That's right.
And that
and
comes through so clearly in this. And all of the problems that the father is facing in everything, because in some ways, speaking as someone who has been both a cancer survivor and also caregiver to a cancer survivor, I personally find it harder to be on the caregiving side than on the patient side, because on the patient side I can at least pretend I have control over my body. And so I've always really enjoyed art that deals with those complicated feelings that come up.
Yeah, that's why we bring up the team. That's why Zelda's character at one point says,
Yeah.
"Me, I'm here, you're alone, and I'm alone." And it's like what you said, when you're struggling with something like cancer, a life and death situation, you have to fight. You're fighting for everything. And no one gets to step in and be your life. You are fighting for your life alone.
a
And
hundred
it's
percent.
very hard for the caregiver to be in that position. It's so insanely difficult.
It is. And Zelda, like for you embodying all of these things, you do such an extraordinary job bringing like all of this sensibility to the fore. And I wonder, for you, feeling like, you know, trying to trying to put yourself in that position of something growing within you and not knowing how it's going to overtake you. How did that feel for you?
Well, I think it was very therapeutic playing this role, actually. Not only did I feel like I got a lot closer with my parents through playing this role, but also I was able to, conquer some fears that even I'm holding after finding out I have this thing called Lynch syndrome. It's like a scary thing to know that something might be, waiting for you that you don't necessarily want. But being able to play this role and like have conversations with my parents about you know, empowering yourself and, taking on adversity with um like braveness and confidence and belief just was very exciting for me when I was playing this. And yeah, I mean, I also think that this role was the most that I've ever had to put, and I think that this is the most that like I've ever had to put emotion into a role, and that was really exciting for me. And I just thank my parents a lot for helping direct me and guide me through it.
Yeah. I mean, it really is so stunning what you're able to achieve in this film. And, you know, thinking about, um, the way that your character sort of acknowledges, I mean, it feels like this at the end, that there's this sort of acknowledgement of death as the shadow partner. And Alice Wong, the disability rights activist who died recently, wrote a lot about that concept of death as the shadow partner that is always with you, always carrying with you. And I sort of felt that through your performance, and yours as well, Toby, for sure. And it's really interesting to see this juxtaposition with new life in this way. And so I wondered maybe if you felt that there was a way that kind of the chronic illness experience translated most effectively for you through imagery. Was there one image, because you have so many powerful images in this film, if there was one that really for you embodied what you were doing? Zelda?
Great
I, I
question.
I do have an immediate question. I think that there's one that not many people notice, but it makes me think about what you just said about death is kind of like the shadow that walks with you. We implement the image of a baby, a baby face very often in the film, but it's often hidden in the shadows. And I remember when we were editing it, I could barely even see it. And I made the film with, my parents. But I think it was so exciting and important to implement that image. And it was actually John and Toby's idea. And I was wondering why you guys wanted to do that, because it did feel very important to the storyline.
Yeah, because death is innocent and it's always watching you, and it's very hard to see coming.
And there's also, I mean, there's also a personal, like for Solvig, who's witnessing that as well, that looming, hidden image that ties in very personally to her story and what she's striving to, coerce from death.
And another image that was super important is this is semi a giveaway, but it really goes to your question. So this might be a spoiler if you want to plug your ears for a second, is the dead Solvig holding the baby. Life steals your innocence and death holds it for you. That's the ultimate like beauty of death is it's you're reborn into innocence because you don't know what's coming and you have to have faith in what's coming.
I love that. And I'll just add for me, Ariel, the snake, had
Mhm.
such rich symbolism for Solvig as being kind of a sort of one of her tools in her death work. The snake is such a rich symbol of renewal with its shedding skin. It lives in the deep, in the rocks, in the dark, like Solvig. It's a representation of medicine with the symbol of the snake around the
Mhm.
staff. So for me, and then the snake embryos that Solvig uses in her spell work. Also, just you're that's a double whammy of the snake and also the birth. So
Yeah.
to me, that was the most important symbol to work with, and it was really inspiring.
Well, and can I just say, those sequences with the snake are just mind blowing. I'm assuming Trey, the fabulous Trey Lindsay, had a lot to do with that.
Yes.
He sure did, but I got really close to that snake.
You really did get that
As
close to
close,
that snake?
closer than I am from my face to yours in the computer on the ground.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that. I mean, it is stupendous, and that open maw of just, oh wow.
Trey's work in that with that was outstanding.
Toby had a lot of guts, though. She had to have her mouth open while that snake wanted in that cave. It was incredible. Yeah.
I'll send you a video.
I would love a video of that. Like, for absolute sure. Oh my gosh. That is so incredible. And and really, like, you know, I hope it was totally digital on your end, Zelda. Please tell me it was. Otherwise, I'm calling CPS immediately.
It was. It was. I didn't have the guts that Toby did. Like, I'm pretty sure the snake thought that her tongue was a mouse. So I learned from that lesson. I was like, nope, I'm gonna totally not do that.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's very smart. Very smart. But I just wanted to also say, like, uh I love the idea that you embedded, the baby's face in the background in all of these shadows, and I wanted to go back to that, and I wanted to talk to you about um what your plans are for audio description with this film, because I would love for audio description to pick out some of those details that low vision viewers like myself might not necessarily pick up on.
Well, I'll look forward to talking to you about that and with tips with that. And of course, I've learned a lot from you, including the pieces you've written for Fangori and the Tarantella type, that you're educating most people who don't know about how to access those things or even consider those options. So I'll look forward to your help with how to do that. And I because that's an interesting question. We were talking last night with a filmmaker friend or a writer about the difference between dialogue and non-dialogue in a screenplay. And some people are good at dialogue and others are good at explaining what's going on when there's no dialogue. And we were saying John's great at dialogue and I like this stuff when there is no dialogue.
Mhm.
So how to translate that into captions that help express that succinctly will be interesting, and I'm going to ask your advice on that.
And actually, that will be really, I'm sorry to interrupt. That would be great because there's so much subliminal stuff that we have put in there that nobody is talking about. Like Zelda just said, no one's talked about the images that we put subliminally in there yet. And so actually it'll be great to be able to bring those into the discussion.
Yeah, and I feel like there is so much going on with all of the imagery, and there are so many layers of meaning there that to be able to have audio description in a film that is as rich with imagery as this one is, and that has some really beautiful sustained silences that allow for kind of rich imaginative storytelling within access as art, is really meaningful and really powerful. So I'm really eager to talk with you about that. So yeah.
Me too.
And and I also just have to say I nerd out so much over the gore work that you guys do, but I need to know what are the things? What are all the things?
Mean all the good
Well,
gore stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. Zell, do you want to
well,
start?
yeah, first of all, we deal with lots of different types of blood. Like there's some store-bought blood, but we don't like that kind. We like to make our own blood out of chocolate, vanilla, and no, chocolate, strawberry, and corn syrup, because that kind of comes out of your clothing nicely, and doesn't stain your skin. We also have like a skin and like prosthetics guy. How did you guys find him?
On Facebook, actually. He's amazing. So he builds a lot of our like heads and arms and hands and bellies and babies. He's incredible. And also we built the death's vagina in our right below our porch because we wanted to shoot it from above because we had to have Toby like being born and having a relationship with it. So it was like for all summer long we had death's vagina covered with bones and meat, and it was like really fun to have around because nobody came to visit us. It's great security.
And then there's so much you can do with condoms. And I've discovered this really wonderful kind of kids clear gel. It's kind of like Play-Doh, but it's super clear. And that was used in all the like snake embryo work. And also just there were no live worms in there, but I went to a worm store and I got fake worms that might look like little embryonic snake. And put them, and then I made snake. I studied what snake, and I actually bought snake eggs, which are super soft and malleable. And so I was able to kind of use a white balloon that I sort of texturized and put the condom inside that and the gel inside the condom and kind of injected everything inside. And then when Solvig, I had a little like slit already in it. So I held it in my palm and then I could just squeeze the condom with the blood and this clear gel out onto Zelda's stomach. And that was super fun.
And you have to give James Bell is the one who makes all our prosthetics, but we got to give credit to Trey. Sometimes our images are still, and Trey can composite things into those images to make them move, like mollusks or whatever. He
Yep.
has his own studio that he works in and does the additions to bring a lot of our still stuff to life.
And the Solvig, like in decay, was all his gorgeous, gorgeous work, which
Yeah.
I'm just astounded by.
Oh my gosh. So the final shot, not to you know, that was totally Trey or
No,
James
that's
Bell.
actually, we built that and then Trey touched it up because, we don't have them. So we have some crazy stories about that. But no, we built the final shot and then Trey touched it up a little because we had made a couple little mistakes. And so Trey kind of really sold it for us.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so incredibly powerful. And like as always, I am in awe of how you come together as a family. Lulu too, who has such a huge part in telling the backstory of this film.
Mhm.
But I really love how you as a family collectively keep packaging these stories that tell me how beautiful central New York is and how gorgeous your area is. But I am so grateful that you're still making this work that we need in the world right now. So I want to thank
Thank
you all
you.
so very much for continuing to
You.
make this work.
We're grateful to be in your community. That's what it is we in the world these days, it's great to be a part of this community.
Well, we need your stories. We need you to keep up the good work in the disability and horror community. So keep it up. Keep it up.
You too,
Thank
Ariel, and congratulations on your recent like season and everything.
Oh,
And I know
thank
we're
you.
going to talk soon, but
All right. All right.
Thank
Well, thank
you.
you all so much and
you.
have a great, great screening on Tuesday night. I really wish I could be there, but uh anyway, I'm
thanks,
sending all
Ariel.
my love.
Looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing you soon.
All
Talk
right.
to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Ariel.